Hello students, myself Dr. Leena Norona. Welcome to my 6th video lecture on electrochemistry. In a previous lecture, you have studied the concept of galvanic cells, thermodynamics of galvanic cells, and also EMF series. In today's lecture, we will study about standard hydrogen electrode and also various types of galvanic cells that are used in day-to-day life. In my previous lecture, I had told you about the reference electrode. Reference electrode is that electrode whose potential is exactly known, whose potential is arbitrarily already known, that is exactly known. Under reference electrode, two types of electrodes are there. One is called a primary reference electrode and another is called a secondary reference electrode. A primary reference electrode is that electrode whose potential is already known and it is used to determine the potentials of the other electrode which are coupled with it. So today we will study about standard hydrogen electrode which is used as a primary reference electrode. Now you can observe the figure of the standard hydrogen electrode over here. The standard hydrogen electrode consists of a platinum plate which is coated with platinum black. This is used as an electrode. This plate is sealed into a thin glass tube which contains mercury at the bottom. It is surrounded by an outer glass jacket. You find this? This is the outer glass jacket. It has a side tube. It has a side opening. This side opening is reserved to pass pure and dry hydrogen gas whose pressure will be maintained exactly 1 atmosphere. The whole assembly is immersed in a glass vessel which contains an electrolyte that is HCl, into which H plus ions are present. This HCl solution taken is of unit activity, or it is also called 1 molar solution. Now this platinum is an inert electrode that serves as a site for electron transfer. It will provide electrical contact for H2 gas when it is bubbled into this particular electrolyte, that is HCl solution. Hydrogen gas, when passed over the platinum plate, it first gets adsorbed on this platinum plate, and the adsorbed gas only gets ionized into the HCl solution. The remaining amount of hydrogen gas that is not adsorbed escapes into the atmosphere as the glass vessel that is taken, in which this hydrogen gas electrode is placed is completely open. So the same construction you can find over here. Hydrogen electrode, that is SHE, standard hydrogen electrode, consists of a platinum plate coated with platinum black, which serves as an electrode. The plate is sealed into a thin glass tube containing mercury. It is surrounded by an outer glass jacket. The metal plate is immersed in 1 molar H plus ion solution through which pure hydrogen gas is bubbled at 1 atmospheric pressure from the side tube of the jacket. Platinum is an inert electrode that serves as the site for electron transfer. Now let us see the working of the standard hydrogen electrode. The platinum black, as I told you earlier, is capable of absorbing large quantities of H2 gas, and it also helps in the ionization of the H2 gas. So if standard hydrogen electrode is connected as cathode, then reduction half reaction will take place as follows. The other electrode that is coupled with this standard hydrogen electrode will oxidize, and those electrons will be gained at the cathode by the H plus ions of this electrode. So the reaction taking place at this cathode will be twice H plus 2 electrons to give H2. Now twice H plus is from HCl solution. It gains 2 electrons which are donated by the other electrode to form hydrogen gas whose pressure is 1 atmosphere. Now the electrode potential obtained for this particular electrode is always 0 volt. Always 0 volt. So last time in EMF series you had seen standard hydrogen electrode is used as a reference electrode, and it is placed at the center of the EMF series because it is the only electrode whose potential is 0, and we can distinguish oxidizing agents which are above the standard electrode potentials in the EMF series and strong reducing agents which are placed below the hydrogen electrode in the same EMF series. Now how to represent or formulate a standard hydrogen electrode? The conventions are already taught in the previous lecture that you have already completed. So always for a gas electrode, to the left side the electrolyte or the ion which is common to the gas taken should be placed to the left side along with its molarity. So H plus of 1 molar is in direct contact with H2 gas whose pressure is 1 atmosphere is in direct contact with platinum. Platinum is always placed to the left, H2 gas in the center, and the ion or the electrolyte containing its own ion is placed to the left side of the cell formula. Now next we shift to application of standard hydrogen electrode. As I told you earlier, standard hydrogen electrode is used as a primary reference electrode. We can determine the electrode potentials of any other electrode using standard hydrogen electrode. Let us see an example of such type. Now in this example we find standard hydrogen electrode potential of zinc electrode can be determined by using standard hydrogen electrode. We are going to determine standard electrode potential of zinc electrode with the help of standard hydrogen electrode. Zinc electrode is combined with standard hydrogen electrode to form the following cell. So we find to the left side, that is to the negative terminal, zinc will be connected as the anode. Zinc will play although it is connected to negative terminal in galvanic cell, that electrode which is connected to the negative terminal plays a role of anode. So zinc is the anode in the following cell, whereas hydrogen gas will play the role of cathode as it is connected to the right hand side. So the cell will be read as follows: zinc electrode in direct contact with Zn2 plus whose molarity is 1. It is in indirect contact with, that is it is coupled with by means of salt bridge with H plus whose molarity is 1, is in direct contact with hydrogen gas whose pressure is 1 atmosphere, and this is in direct contact with platinum. Platinum is used to provide electrical contact for hydrogen gas. Now the cell potential of this particular cell taken is known, that is 0.763 volt, that is 0.763 volt. So we have the formula, that is E0 cell is equal to right hand side electrode potential minus left hand side electrode potential. So E0 cell is equal to E0H2 minus E0Zn. Therefore 0.763 is equal to, we know hydrogen electrode potential is always 0 whether it is cathode or whether it is anode. Now it is cathode over here, so it is 0 minus E0Zn. On rearranging, we get zinc electrode potential as 0.763 volt. Now there are several difficulties in setting up of standard hydrogen electrode. It is difficult to obtain pure and dry hydrogen gas. It is said that it is difficult to maintain pure and dry hydrogen gas. Hydrogen gas is bubbled into HCl solution, and this HCl solution is kept in an open container. When the electrode reactions begin, the solution becomes hot, water vapor escapes out. Also, some amount of hydrogen gas is adsorbed on the platinum plate taken, and after the adsorption capacity of this platinum plate is over, the unadsorbed gas escapes out into the atmosphere. So there is a wastage of hydrogen gas over here. Also, moisture can come in contact with hydrogen gas, and the purity of hydrogen gas will not remain to keep its pressure exactly 1 atmosphere. Then we find pressure of hydrogen gas cannot be maintained exactly 1 atmosphere throughout the experiment. That is the second difficulty. I have already explained this point to you. And the third one, the concentration of H plus ion solution cannot be exactly maintained at 1 molar throughout the experiment due to vaporization of water. If pressure of hydrogen gas is 1 atmosphere and concentration of HCl solution is 1 molar exactly, then only the standard hydrogen electrode gives 0 electrode potential. So these are various difficulties in setting up of standard hydrogen electrode. Now here, this is how Nernst equation is used to explain the hydrogen gas electrode. we can determine electrode potential of hydrogen by means of Nernst equation in the following manner. So the reaction is H plus aqueous is in direct contact with H2 gas whose pressure may be 1 atmosphere here, is in direct contact with platinum in contact with H plus ions. The pressure of hydrogen gas differs from unity. Then electrode reaction can be represented as twice H plus aqueous gains 2 electrons to give H2 gas whatever the pressure of hydrogen gas may be. That is to be considered here. Then from Nernst equation, electrode potential of H2 is equal to standard electrode potential of hydrogen minus 0.0591 or 592 divided by 2 electrons, that is n here, 0.0592 upon n. N is number of electrons that are gained. So n value will be 2. So 0.0592 upon 2 log to the base of 10 of partial pressure of H2 divided by H plus ion concentration, that is twice. On the basis of this reaction, the following values have been put up. So that is equal to, as E0H2 is 0, we have that is equal to minus 0.0592 upon 2 log to the base of 10 pressure of H2 divided by H plus ion concentration raised to power 2. Now let us study about few galvanic cells that are to be used in day-to-day life. Now galvanic cells are classified as primary voltaic cells and secondary voltaic cells. The primary voltaic cells are those cells that cannot be recharged, whereas secondary voltaic cells are those type of voltaic cells that can be recharged. Now let us study about these cells. Primary voltaic cell, under this you have an example of dry cell. Now in such cells, once the chemicals are consumed during discharge, the cell reaction stops. The electrodes and electrolytes cannot be recharged by reversing the current flow. Next type of cells are secondary voltaic cells. These are the cells that can be recharged by applying external opposing EMF slightly greater than the EMF of the cell taken. Under this you have examples of lead storage battery, nickel cadmium cell and mercury cell. In these cells, the chemicals consumed during current generation can be regenerated when external potential slightly greater than the cell potential is applied across the electrodes. This reverses the direction of current flow, causing the cell reaction to reverse. Now let us study first about dry cell. Observe the figure. Now this figure, you can see this outer container is a bit cylindrical in nature. It is made up of zinc, and the zinc container itself is connected as negative terminal, so it will serve as anode. This container is lined from inside with a paper spacer that is porous in nature to separate it from other materials of the cell. Then in the center you can find a graphite or carbon rod is placed in the same container. It will be connected to positive terminal, so it serves as a cathode. Now this graphite rod is surrounded, here it is surrounded by a paste of manganese dioxide and carbon black. The remaining space is filled with a paste of ammonium chloride and zinc chloride, and some amount of starch is also added to this paste so that it remains moist, and also as starch is colloidal, the substances may not come out of the cell. The seal at the top, you find the cell is sealed at the top to prevent drying of the paste by evaporation of the moisture. Recorded EMF of this particular cell is 1.2 to 1.5 volt. So question on dry cell can be asked. One thing you must know is the dry cell is also known as Leclanche cell. Dry cell is also known as Leclanche cell. Questions on this dry cell can be asked on neat label diagram. Draw a neat label diagram of a dry cell for 2 marks. Or construction and working of a dry cell can be asked for 3 marks. Now let us see what are the cell reactions. At anode, as zinc is the anode, it will oxidize to give Zn2 plus aqueous plus 2 electrons. So Zn being divalent, Zn oxidizes to give Zn2 plus aqueous plus 2 electrons. Let us consider this to be equation number 1. Now, at cathode, the reduction reaction taking place are twice NH4 plus aqueous. It will gain the 2 electrons that are donated by the anode to give twice NH3 aqueous plus hydrogen gas. Again the hydrogen gas combines with the 2 times MnO2 solid to give Mn2O3 solid plus water. So the net cell reaction only at cathode is 2 times NH4 plus aqueous plus 2 times MnO2 solid gains 2 electrons to give 2 times NH3 aqueous plus Mn2O3 solid plus H2O liquid. H2 gas get cancelled, so they are not represented in the reaction. Now let us consider this net cell reaction as equation number 2. If we add equation 1 and 2, we get the overall cell reaction as Zn solid plus 2 times NH4 plus aqueous plus 2 times MnO2 solid gives Zn2 plus aqueous plus Mn2O3 solid plus 2 times NH3 aqueous plus H2O liquid. Reactions are very important under working. You have to learn them thoroughly, practice them by writing, and the reaction should be balanced while representing them. Now, another reaction that takes place in the dry cell is of zinc ions. Zinc ions being moist, they combine with ammonia gas that is evolved. So Zn2 plus aqueous plus 4 times NH3 aqueous gives zinc tetraammonium complex here, which is a soluble compound. So ammonia combines with Zn2 plus to form this soluble compound, that is a complex ion, that is zinc tetraammonium complex. Now, uses of dry cell. Dry cell is used as a source of power in flashlights, in portable radios, in tape recorders, and also in clocks. Now the dry cell that we have studied is acidic because of ammonium chloride that is used in it. Now zinc anode corrodes due to the action of H plus ions on it to form NH4 plus ions, and that decreases the life of the dry cell. So to increase the life of the dry cell, instead of using NH4Cl, NaOH or KOH can be used as electrolyte. So that type of a cell, that type of a dry cell is alkaline in behavior. So it is called as alkaline dry cell, and it has longer life comparative to the original dry cell, as zinc corrodes very slowly in this alkaline type of dry cell. Now next we will study about a lead storage battery, very commonly seen in trucks, motor cars, and in your two-wheelers. So this lead storage battery is also called as lead accumulator. Lead accumulator stores electrical energy due to regeneration of original reactants during recharging. It functions as galvanic as well as electrolytic cell. That means in this particular lead storage battery, there is conversion of chemical energy into electrical energy when it works as galvanic cell, and when it works as electrolytic cell, there will be conversion of electrical energy into chemical energy. It is a rechargeable cell. The chemicals can be regenerated, so the cell reactions are regenerated back in this particular lead accumulator. So it is a secondary voltaic type of cell. Now let us observe the figure shown. In this figure we find a cylindrical vessel has been taken. In this 38% H2SO4 is used as a main electrolyte. Now its specific gravity is, or density is, 1.2 gram per ml. Now 38% sulfuric acid means it is 4.963 molar concentrated acid. 4.963 molar concentrated acid. Now in this container you find series of lead electrodes are connected alternately. Series of lead electrodes are connected alternately. Let us see how. A group of lead plates, we can find only a group of lead plates are connected alternately to another series of lead plates which are coated with lead dioxide. Now this which are shown are only lead electrodes. They are connected in series to negative terminal, so they will serve as anode, and another series of lead electrodes that are coated with lead dioxide are indirectly connected to another terminal, that is positive terminal. They will serve as a cathode. To provide large reacting surface, the cell contains several plates of each type. So there is alternate arrangement of these lead plates in the electrolyte. These electrodes are immersed in electrolytic aqueous solution, that is 38% by mass of sulfuric acid, whose density is 1.2 gram per ml and molarity of 4.963 m. Now how to represent the cell, how to formulate or how to show the notation of the cell. Negative electrode always towards left side, that is anode towards left, cathode towards right. So as usual, Pb solid is in direct contact with PbSO4 solid is in direct contact with 38% sulfuric acid aqueous, is in direct contact with PbSO4 solid, is in direct contact with another lead electrode which is impregnated, coated with lead dioxide, which will be serving as a cathode. It is placed at the right side. Now you must be guessing how this PbSO4 appears in this particular cell formula. So to know that, let us see what are the reactions taking place. Now during discharge, the following reactions take place. First, let us discuss about anode. At anode, lead oxidizes to give Pb2 plus aqueous plus 2 electrons. Now this Pb2 plus combine with sulfate ions of the electrolyte. Main electrolyte taken is H2SO4. So H2SO4 ionizes to give twice H plus plus SO4 2 minus. As required number of ions of sulfate more, we have to take 2 times H2SO4. So that will ionize to give 4 times H plus plus 2 times sulfate. So part of the sulfate ions combine with the Pb2 plus at the anode to form PbSO4 solid. So this is insoluble compound. So it is called a precipitation reaction. Now we find the overall oxidation reaction as Pb solid plus SO4 2 minus aqueous. This Pb2 plus gets cancelled. So what remains? PbSO4 solid plus 2 electrons. Now let us study the reduction at cathode. At cathode, PbO2 solid combines with H plus ions, that is 4 times H plus ions of the electrolyte, gains 2 electrons donated by the anode to form Pb2 plus aqueous plus 2 times H2O liquid. Again, Pb2 plus combines with remaining sulfate ions to give PbSO4 solid. So this is a precipitation reaction. So PbSO4 is a impurity which is deposited at both the electrodes, that is anode as well as at the cathode. Now finally let us see the reduction net reaction at cathode. PbO2 solid plus 4 times H plus aqueous plus SO4 2 minus aqueous plus 2 electrons gives PbSO4 solid plus 2 times H2. So the net cell reaction during discharge, this can be written by combining the left side of the oxidation reaction and reduction reaction which you have seen previously. Combine the left hand side part and write the left hand side of the net cell reaction, and also combine the right hand side part of the net cell reaction of oxidation and reduction and write the net cell reaction right hand side part. So the reactions can be represented as Pb solid plus PbO2 solid plus 4 times H plus aqueous plus 2 times SO4 2 minus aqueous gives 2 times PbSO4 solid plus 2 times H2O liquid. Or you can combine this 4 times H plus 2 times SO4 2 minus and write it as twice H2SO4 aqueous. So another way to represent the cell reaction is Pb solid plus PbO2 solid plus 2 times H2SO4 aqueous gives 2 times PbSO4 solid plus 2 times H2O liquid. As a cell operates to generate current, H2SO4 is consumed. So its concentration goes on decreasing and the cell potential also decreases. That means the cell potential depends upon the concentration of sulfuric acid taken. Now let us see the cell reactions during recharging. The potential of the lead accumulator is 2 volt. So it must be recharged when the cell potential drops to 1.8 volt. To recharge the cell, the external potential slightly greater than 2 volts need to be applied across the electrodes. So during recharging, the cell will function as electrolytic cell. Exactly reverse behavior of the electrodes. The anode and cathode are interchanged with the PbO2 electrode now being as anode and lead electrode being a cathode. Also, the reactions will also be reversed. Now, we find oxidation at anode. PbSO4 solid plus 2 times H2O liquid gives PbO2 solid plus 4 times H plus aqueous plus SO4 2 minus aqueous plus 2 electrons. Whereas reduction at cathode, it is also reverse of oxidation reaction 1 that is taking place during discharge at the anode. That is PbSO4 solid gains 2 electrons to give Pb solid plus SO4 2 minus aqueous. Even the net cell reaction during recharge will be reversed as twice PbSO4 solid plus 2 times H2O liquid gives Pb solid plus PbO2 solid plus 4 times H plus aqueous plus 2 times SO4 2 minus aqueous. Or in brief, twice PbSO4 solid plus 2 times H2O liquid gives Pb solid plus PbO2 solid plus 2 times H2SO4 aqueous. So equation 6 shows that H2SO4 is regenerated, its concentration and also cell potential goes on increasing. Now let us see the applications of lead accumulator. It is used as a source of direct current in the laboratories. A 12 volt lead storage battery is constructed by connecting 6 2 volt cells in series, and it can be used in automobiles and inverters. Now let us study a new galvanic cell, that is nickel cadmium, or it is also called as NiCad storage cell. Now this nickel cadmium cell is also a secondary type of voltaic cell. So it is called secondary dry cell. This cell can be recharged. The anode of this storage cell is a cadmium metal, whereas the cathode is nickel 4 oxide, that is NiO2 supported on nickel. The electrolytic solution must be basic in behavior. Now let us see the electrode reactions and overall cell reactions. As anode is cadmium, cadmium combines with OH minus ions of the base taken as electrolyte to form cadmium hydroxide plus 2 electrons. That means cadmium oxidizes over here. This reaction will take place at anode. So it is called anodic oxidation. Now at cathode, nickel 4 oxide is taken. So nickel oxide combines with water, gains the 2 electrons donated by the anode to form nickel hydroxide plus twice OH minus. So this type of reaction taking place at cathode is a reaction related to gain of electrons. So it is called cathodic reduction. Net cell reaction will be cadmium solid plus NiO2 solid plus 2 times H2O liquid gives CdOH twice solid plus NiOH twice solid. The potential of this cell is about 1.4 volt. And this cell has a longer life than dry cell. It is very often used in electronic watches, calculators and photographic equipments. You can find commercial figures of this particular nickel cadmium battery or cell over here. Next, we will study about mercury battery. This is also an example of secondary cell as it can be recharged. Now in a mercury battery, the anode is zinc amalgamated with mercury. Zinc combined with mercury is called zinc amalgam. So anode is zinc amalgamated with mercury. The cathode is a paste of mercury and carbon. The electrolyte is strongly alkaline and made of a paste of potassium hydroxide and zinc oxide. The electrode reactions taking place are at anode, oxidation will take place. So zinc amalgam combines with 2 times OH minus of the electrolyte to give zinc oxide plus water with the loss of 1 electron, and this electron can be accepted by mercury, mercuric oxide here. So mercuric oxide plus water gains 2 electrons to give Hg liquid plus 2 times OH minus. So net cell reaction will be zinc amalgam plus HgO solid. It will give zinc oxide plus Hg liquid. Now the overall reaction involves only solid substances. There is no change in electrolytic composition during the operation. The battery provides more constant voltage, that is of 1.35 volt than Leclanché, that is dry cell. It also has higher capacity and longer life than dry cell. Mercury battery is very often used in hearing aids, electric watches and pacemakers. So this is the figure of mercury battery. The diagram of mercury battery and nickel cadmium cell have not been given in the government text. So you need not practice those diagrams. Only for understanding part of view they have been put forth in this video. Finally, we come to another type of cell, that is fuel cell. In Apollo mission, the first H2O2 fuel cell was utilized. You must be knowing or you must have heard about this. So in fuel cells, combustion reactions are of redox type and they can be used to generate electricity. In these cells, fuel, that is hydrogen gas or methanol, is one of the reactant, and other reactant is oxygen, which serves as an oxidant. Now let us study H2O2, hydrogen oxygen fuel cell. In the figure, you find the anode and cathode are carbon rods which are porous in nature, and they contain small amount of finely divided platinum metal over them that serves as a catalyst. The electrolyte is hot aqueous solution of KOH. The carbon rods are immersed into this electrolyte. Hydrogen gas is bubbled continuously through the anode, whereas oxygen gas is bubbled through the cathode into the electrolyte. As long as H2 and O2 gas are bubbled into the electrolyte, the cell reaction will continue. Otherwise, the cell reaction will stop. Now let us see what are the cell reactions. Hydrogen gas, twice H2 gas, combined with 4 times hydroxyl ions to give 4 times H2O liquid plus 4 electrons. That means hydrogen gas gets oxidized at the anode. It forms water after its combination with hydroxyl ions of the electrolyte. Again, electrons that are released at anode migrate to the cathode. So, through external circuit, when this migration will complete, the O2 gas is reduced to hydroxyl ions by combining with water and gaining electrons that are migrated from anode to cathode. So O2 gas plus 2 times H2 aqueous plus 4 electrons gives 4 times OH minus aqueous. Let us consider the first reaction as equation 1 and the second one, that is cathodic reduction, as equation 2. So combining 1 and 2, we get overall reaction, that is twice H2 gas plus O2 gas gives twice H2O liquid. So combustion of H2 forms liquid water here. Fuel H2 gas and oxidant O2 do not react directly. The chemical energy that is released during the formation of OH bond is directly converted into electrical energy in this type of combustion reaction. The cell continues to operate as long as H2 and O2 gases are supplied to the electrodes. E0 cell is equal to E0 cathode minus E0 anode. So that is equal to electrode potential of the cathode is 0.4 volt and of anode is minus 0.83 volt. So 0.4 minus 0.83, that will give 0.4 plus 0.83. So that is equal to 1.23 volt. Now let us see advantages of fuel cell. Fuel cells do not have to be discharged on consuming of the chemicals. These type of cells are non-polluting cells as they don't have any hazardous chemicals present in them. The product of the reaction is water, so there is no question of pollution in this particular type of cell. Then they provide electricity with an efficiency of 70%, which is twice the efficiency of thermal plants, that is only 40%. Few drawbacks of fuel cells. H2 gas which is used in this H2O2 fuel cell is hazardous to handle, and cost of preparing hydrogen gas is also very high. So these are disadvantages or drawbacks of fuel cell. Coming to applications of fuel cell. The fuel cells used on experimental basis in automobile. Fuel cells can be used in automobiles. The fuel cells are used for electrical power in space program. In spacecrafts, the fuel cell is operated at such a high temperature that water evaporates at the same rate as it is formed. The vapor is condensed and pure water formed is used for drinking by the astronauts. Astronauts are those people who go for space study. In future, fuel cells can possibly be explored as power generators in hospitals, hotels and homes. So today you have studied various types of galvanic cells, all the cells, and also standard hydrogen electrode, construction, working, electrode reactions, cell potential, cell representation, uses, advantages, applications, drawbacks, all are important regarding exam point of view. You have to thoroughly learn, practice the diagrams, learn thoroughly the concepts, practice the reactions also by writing. Finally, let us shift to the exercise. Answer the following questions. Figure to the right indicate full marks. Define reference electrode, 1 mark. Draw a neat and label diagram of SHE, 2 marks. Draw a neat label diagram of lead accumulator and explain the reactions involved in charging this cell, 3 marks. Write 2 applications of a lead storage battery, 1 mark. Describe the construction and working of a dry cell, that is Leclanche cell, 3 marks. How is standard hydrogen electrode used to determine the standard potential of the other electrode, 2 marks. Write the cell reactions in a lead storage battery during discharging this cell, 2 marks. Formulate the lead storage cell, 1 mark. Write 2 uses of dry cell, 1 mark. Write the difficulties in setting up of SHE, 2 marks. Write Nernst equation for hydrogen gas electrode, 1 mark. Write 4 applications of fuel cells, 2 marks. Describe the construction and working of H2O2 fuel cell, 3 marks. Write the electrode reactions for NiCad cell, 2 marks. Describe the construction and working of mercury battery, 3 marks. Write 2 uses of nickel cadmium cell and mercury cell, 2 marks. What are the advantages of fuel cell, 2 marks. Write the drawbacks of fuel cells, 1 mark. Thank you.